Hi, this is Mike Furchess with Real People, Real Life, Wichita, Kansas,
America.
You know, we just finished up the last segment. Woody, that event on September 23rd sounds like a lot of fun as far as the Lord Stock event. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, Saturday 23rd. I'm going to be there all day, 10 to 10. In the dunk tank if it's warm enough. Walking around as Ben Franklin. I can even do some open mic jokes.
So that means
you're going to have a good time.
That means you won't get to hear Big Mac Combo and me acting like a fool on stage.
Oh, yeah, I'll be throwing the hot dogs at you. Kidding.
So, again, it's September 23rd, the end of this month, at the address that we provided earlier, which is right off of Kellogg.
Yeah, you want to see it on the north side of Kellogg.
Right across from where
across from Newman.
Not Carson Newman. Kansas Newman.
Across from Newman. Get off at West Street, go up to McDonald's, that's Taft, make a right, and drive till you hit the hot dog stand. You're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You can't miss.
Now we got another guest here.
We do.
I know this guy. You don't know him.
Only a little bit.
This is Coach. I call him Coach Knox, CharlieKnox. Yes. Been around Wichita. I've known him for, man. When did we move? 12. When we first moved up here, has it been 15 years?
Yeah. See.
We looked at bringing Nathan.
How old is Nathan?
Nathan's 27.
27. So.
Nathan's my son. For those that are watching.
15 years. Right at 15 years.
Yeah. Coach has been in the news a lot lately. His wrestling club, one of his wrestlers, and he coaches a program called Team of Hard Knocks. And it's more than, for those that know me, I'm not talking about the WWE, WWE. I'm talking real legitimate, honest to goodness wrestling, freestyle, folk style, Greco, collegiate, depending on where you live at. But it's the real thing that they do in high schools and colleges and the Olympics. And Coach in the state of Kansas is a legend, in my opinion. And I made mention on the radio show a few weeks ago, I had a buddy of mine that was kind of a role model, a mentor for Coach, named Skip Harrington. And I really fought hard and advocated hard that Skip be inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. And he eventually was posthumously, is that how you say that, after he had died. And Coach Knox is one of those guys that deserves to be in there. And you're going to hear of some reasons why he deserves, in my opinion, to be in the coaches, or not the coaches, but the Wrestling Hall of Fame for the state of Kansas for sure, and I think nationally, when you hear about some of the kids and some of the successes and what he's done. Coach, I know that you don't like hearing that kind of stuff because you're a humble man. You really are a humble man and a good man. But
well, I've been blessed. I've just been blessed with a whole bunch of talented athletes.
And every coach says that, but you know as well. I've said that as well. Well, I had a team that had 5 blue chip players on it for Division I football or for Division I soccer.
Oh, wow.
And I was blessed to have that many athletes, but the coach still has a role, and you were really largely responsible. And those Romero Cotton, the Kendrick Maples, every one of those kids, if they was here today, would say, yeah, Coach was a big part of that. But go ahead, tell us about Team of Hard Knocks.
Well, Team of Hard Knocks, we actually was started in 1985. Back when I was in college, I actually finished college the winter of 1984. January of 1985, I came home, and I had this. When I was wrestling in college, I was finding out these guys had started wrestling when they were six years old. And I was hoping, I said, man, wow, I wish I'd have known this, because this would have served the opportunity for me to be able to wrestle Division I. I ended up wrestling NAIA. And while I was in college, seeing these guys that were wrestling that started at 6 years old, I said, man, that's got to be a simple way to earn an education. I said, if we can go back, I can go back home and teach these guys how to wrestle. They can get in Division I schools, or even an NAI school like I did, and be able to wrestle and earn a higher education. There was no, there was no way of saying I'm going to be a professional football player and I can live off playing football. With wrestling, you just finish, you wrestle to your college, and then after that, if you could make it to the Elite Six, then you could wrestle on the world team, and then maybe you could make some money. At that time, I didn't know you could make any money.
Yeah, even if you make the Olympic team or one of the elite teams, the money is surprisingly lower than what some people think it is. It's less than what a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, well, in recent time it's changed. Right now, USA created a fund where if you win a gold medal in the Olympics, they'll give you $500,000.
But was the last gold medal winner we had in the Olympics?
Well, we had we had one last year, and the year before we had 2. So we've been limited with the gold medals. We had our first women lady win her first gold medal just this past Olympics. So we ended up with two. So each Olympics every 4 years we have two people that from the United States that have won the Olympic gold medal.
It's
I want to back you up a second or two, Coach, because this is something it's easy for me to play stupid on because I am. You mentioned Division One and an AI something.
Well,
can you tell me what they are, or
well,
give me
sports-
some examples of the schools in
Yeah,
each?
like Division One sports is done like Kansas University, Kansas State University, Ohio State, Arkansas University, Oklahoma State, Wichita State. Those are Division One schools, and then your Division Two schools are schools like Kansas Newman, University of University of Nebraska Kearney, Central Oklahoma, and so what. And then you got those Division Three schools that you can hear out in Wisconsin, Iowa,
Stony Brook.
yeah, real small
Real
schools.
small.
Carson Newman's a Division Two school. You might be familiar with it.
So what I'm hearing is, though, is if they take you seriously young enough, they're going to earn enough scholarship money to get a college degree in something.
Yes.
And we can dangle $500,000 carrots or whatever, but that's not the point. The point is, with a college education, you're going to make about $2-3 million more in a lifetime than without it. And you're going to have a career. You're going to have an enriched educational process, and you're going to be an athlete with crossover ability. I'm guessing the wrestler, probably better than any other, could play football if they're big enough. Could play a lot of different sports, because the wrestler himself is a rock.
That's it.
No pun intended.
That's it.
And then there is always WWE crossover too for entertainment purposes.
Yes, that's
and they're
what you
getting
get
paid. They're getting paid pretty well for entertaining, pretending to wrestle. Well, it would certainly help to know how to wrestle.
Well, nowadays, what you see more happening as far as a professional level, you would see that with MMA, UFC,
Oh, yes, definitely. That's
Bellator, and so forth. But the
another
other thing
area
is,
that's opened up.
you talk about the smaller schools, and again, I want to talk about some of the athletes that's come out and the benefits to them. My daughter, she was offered scholarships at Division I for soccer, but she's also offered scholarships at NAIA schools, and she ended up choosing an NAIA school because they could stack scholarships. By the time her academic, her athletic, and everything else was figured into the service, she got just about as much as she'd have got at a Division I, but a lot smaller classroom size that enabled her to go on to do a lot better things. So it's not just the big schools. You have a wrestler that I think you know quite well that just recently won a national championship at Nebraska Kearney, a Division II school.
Yeah, Daniel DeShazer won that. He won. Actually, him and Romero Cotton both won it there at University of Nebraska Kearney, Division II school. And, Romero chose to go on to MMA, like we were talking to. He signed a $15,000 contract, which isn't much money, but it has the opportunity to grow into more money. You've seen the Conor McGregor; he got over $8 million because he became really talented to cross over. But with Romero, then there's Daniel DeShazer, he just came out of University of Nebraska Kearney, and he's currently working with the Minnesota wrestling team to try to make the world team. He's currently ranked in the top 10. With opportunity, now he's going to drop down the weight, which will move him up with opportunity to make some of that extra cash.
Now, are these names you mentioned a product of your gym?
Yes, they were a couple of wrestlers.
How many kids have you had to go on to get college scholarships and go to wrestle in college?
Well, I usually stop somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 kids in the last. So we started in 1985, so we've averaged close to 1.5 athletes each year to the years that we've been around to earn scholarships. There's a guy named Delvon Staley and Stephon Staley who started out, and they can tell you a story that they thought they would never be in college if it was not for wrestling. Then they ended up being ministers and social workers and counselors for the Department of Corrections. So, those are some of the things where wrestling has led to, And then you just probably, if you continue to read about wrestlers, you find out wrestlers, that discipline that you get from wrestling are the best type of people to have working when you're into your job. Or to be married to. Wrestlers make great men to be married to.
And part of that's the discipline, the training that takes place.
Yes.
I used to box. I think I told you before. I boxed for a while.
Yes.
That's why Andy over here don't have much of a chance in a boxing ring with me either. But we'll find out after. Sure, he wants to play. He said, "Let's play." I said, "You don't play at boxing or fighting." But there was a discipline that was involved in that. But with wrestling, through being involved with my son, there's a very strict dietary thing. And people, I want to talk some about cutting weight. We didn't do that on the last television or on the last radio show. But there's the cutting the weight, but then the discipline and the training and the various styles and techniques. The training or the cutting weight, a lot of people assume that you're starving people to do that.
No.
And I think that's a huge myth that does a disservice to the sport. While there may be some people that use a starvation route, they don't use it long because it's not successful at making great wrestlers. Share some about the cutting process that a lot of people may be critical of.
Well, actually, when you go out and work out, if you ever measured your weight and you worked out for 2 hours like wrestlers do, you would lose anywhere from 5 pounds to 12 pounds, depending on your body size. If you're a heavier guy, you can go out and work out. And, a lot of people go into gymnasiums now when they get older, and they'll get a workout and they'll weigh themselves before and after. But all it is just water weight that these guys lose, and then they temporarily go maybe a half a day without eating, and then as soon as they weigh in, they put all the food and the different things in. Wrestlers, they're very, you hear about nutrition. Wrestlers they're going to be top notch for nutrition, making sure to put the right, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and all of that into their diet.
Okay. I want to talk some more about that here in a moment when we come back. We got ready to take a break right now, but I want to definitely talk about some more about that as well as some other things related to the Team of Hard Knocks, how people can become aware of it, support it, and so forth. Again, this is Mike Furchess with Real People, Real Life. This is my buddy Woody over here and Coach Knox over here. We'll be back with you in just a moment.